If you want to help Myth Vision Podcast grow, you can join our Patreon. There are different tiers, as well as help out with PayPal. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Stephen Nelson asks, Dr. Price, can you explain the speculated connection between H.P. Lovecraft and Aleister Crowley?
Yeah, there are some, I think, superficial similarities to Crowley's revelation from the angel Aiwass, who supposedly appeared to him and delivered to him the text of the Liber Legis, the Book of the Law, a collection of aphorisms and stuff. The main one being, do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. There's some similarities. It doesn't seem that close to me, and there are a lot of people that think Lovecraft was a member of the OTO, whatever the Latin is for the Order of the Temple of the Orient. And I think they're sort of sloppily mixing this up with the group from which Crowley split, the Order of the Golden Dawn. That was a fellowship of, was part of the so-called Celtic Twilight. And in the 19th or early 20th century, which made much of Celtic mysticism as revealed in the Arthurian legends and so forth, the Grail and all that. And there were important weird fiction or sort of that writers like Arthur Machen, who was a huge influence on Lovecraft. And Machen is just profound and an effective horror writer as well. And he was a very spiritual man, and he was a member of the Golden Dawn. He was a mystic himself. W.B. Yeats was a member of the Golden Dawn, and there were other people who were kind of in the same circles as Theosophists and Rosicrucians. They all kind of overlapped, and the chief guy in the Golden Dawn, I love this name, he was so enamored of Celtic stuff that though his name was something else, he adopted the unbelievably Scottish name of MacGregor Mathers. And I love that. He was like a mooching welcher and not the best kind of character, but he was a character. Well, this had nothing to do with the OTO. They didn't have the slogan, do as thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. And Crowley was kind of a degenerate. He was a drug fiend. He had sex, magic rituals, and he wrote propaganda for the German Kaiser during World War I. He's a weird guy to have as the founder of a spiritual sect. And I have friends, I've had friends for a long time who have been in the Crowley sect, and people in it often like Lovecraft, and I think they would like to think that he was a Crowleyite, but there's no evidence that he was, whereas there's all sorts of explicit statements that he thought religion was superstition that might indeed be necessary to keep people in line. The ignorant and the superstitious, and that was a good thing. And he liked the Bible and had read it through the King James. You can see biblical references in a couple of his stories, like The Color Out of Space, like the story that Nicolas Cage movie recently was based on. That's based on Lot, Abraham, and Sodom and Gomorrah, basically. Well, but he wasn't a Crowleyite or an OTO person. Now, I guess this bond was strengthened, an imaginary bond, by Kenneth Grahame, who was like basically the successor to Crowley. And he wrote books. Oh boy, I'm forgetting the titles of them. I tried to get him as a speaker at one of the early Necronomicon conferences, from which I was eventually excommunicated for not being politically correct enough. But I thought, okay, we invite all Lovecraftians to participate in this, the gamers, the card game people, the people that make Lovecraft movies, all this stuff. I say invite this Lovecraftian occultist. He's a genteel, reasonable person. He just has beliefs that I don't buy, but I would have loved having him as a speaker. But they were a little too afraid to do that. He's dead now. But he made a big connection and thought that Lovecraft was actually kind of channeling the entities that had contacted Crowley. And a lot of people think that, though it's, I think, absurd. I'm friendly toward them, and I appreciate their interest in Lovecraft, but there simply is no evidence for that.